He was the best thing that ever happened to me when we first met. You know when that one boy is just so perfect you can't believe he's real? He didn't tell me much about himself because he was more of a listener, but I knew that his favourite colour was red and his favourite football team was Arsenal. He even bought me their shirt even though I knew nothing about football. He always knew what to say, like when I said I wasn't good enough to him, he'd reply, "You're the best and only thing out there for me." He always knew how to make me smile. For my birthday he got me a dog tag with his name on it, and especially engraved for you, he said. He made sure everybody knew I was his, and I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the attention. He was the perfect boyfriend. I've always been bad at keeping a relationship, but with him I was willing to make it work, no matter what, and I told him that.
But then he started acting differently. I thought that maybe it's because the summer holidays were over and I had to concentrate on school and swimming. Maybe there was so much strain on the relationship. He was always pointing out my flaws, but at the time I felt like it was my fault. He had changed from the boy I fell in love with. He stopped talking to me as much and started hanging out with more and more girls and spoke to them more than he spoke to me. When I asked him about it, he'd just reply,
"Shut up, it's all done now."
And then he'd push me out of his way and wouldn't even look back. That night, I felt like I owed him a call. The changes were:
"Can you wear less clothing to show off your body? And I'll buy it. Is that cool with you, yeah? And I want you to wear my dog tag every day and night.
He's just feeling insecure, and it's the least I could do."
Can you stop seeing that best friend of yours?
I think he saw him as some kind of threat, because he's male and has a reputation.
Please could you stop swimming so we could spend more time together?"
I didn't understand why he was being so insecure, but for him, I stopped seeing my friends and started missing my swimming lessons.
Things got worse. My skin was now covered in bruises and scars from a violent argument. Hitting me had become the norm now. It was expected, and I only had myself to blame for bringing out this side of him. I'd stopped training completely so that I didn't lose him. I told him everything and spent all my free time with him. He was all I had. He'd tell me about how we could get married one day because we really sued, but he was still different and aggressive. There was always this voice at the back of my head saying,
"This is the boyfriend I love him."
But when I thought about it, I reduced him to this. It's my fault and I deserve it.
One day, at his house, he stopped talking to me. Whatever I said, he'd ignore me and storm off. I ran after him, thinking it would all be okay. I was wrong. The slaps turned into a punch, and the punch quickly turned into a kick as I curled up on the floor. Before I knew it, I blacked out. To be honest, it was my fault. If I just stopped for just one moment to think about how he felt, this wouldn't have happened. Why can't I just be like the other girls and make him smile, rather than bring out the worst in him?
I woke up in the hospital room, and his was the first face I saw. It was clear he'd been crying. My parents were next to him, comforting him, but why? Why were they comforting him? Isn't it his fault that I'm here? Things were still explained. I fell, head first, down the stairs. Yes, that's exactly what happened. He couldn't have done it on purpose, and I didn't want him to get into trouble. He looked so sad. Sad without me, sad because of me. When I returned home, he was there for me. This was the boy I knew and loved.
When I finally got better, our relationship only got worse. This time, I had no friends and no one to talk to. He was getting more and more aggressive as time went on. I didn't know what to do. In public, he'd pinch me if I didn't do what he said. He said he wouldn't have done it if I had just listened, and I believed him. If I questioned his love for me, he'd beat me until I had to force the words out of my mouth that I was wrong.
I loved him and he loved me. Everybody has their imperfections, and I was bringing out his. Soon he started making out with other girls for fun and said I wasn't giving him enough of what he needed. I would call him to say sorry, and he would tell me I needed to make things better. This time it was my virginity, and I would give it to him because it's what he wanted. Anytime I was busy or revising, he'd get bored and said that he could be out there sleeping with other girls and he was stuck here with me. Things were getting out of hand. I didn't want another hospital visit. I wasn't happy anymore.
After deep thought and terrified of the consequences, I called to break up with him. But instead, we made up. We spoke all about the violence and the arguments, and he apologised and started pleading down the phone that he was sorry.
After that, things were good again, just like when we first met. For a while,